Diamond P Sports presents championship drag racing from the National Hot Rod Association. The 1982 US Nationals. Brought to you by Goodyear Eagles High Performance Radials, the Racing Eagles Goodyear tamed for the street. And by Motorcraft. Motorcraft offers a complete line of automotive parts to fight the enemies of your engine. Motorcraft for sure. And by English Leather. Get an A in English with English Leather and women will never fail you. Aftershave and cologne for men. Indianapolis Raceway Park, home of the world's largest and richest drag race, the oldest event in the series of races that make up the NHRA Championship Drag Racing Series. The performances recorded during the last 4 days have startled even the longtime Nationals veterans. Top Fuel qualifying blistered the quarter-mile asphalt, the elapsed time record rewritten by the #1 qualifier, Gary Beck. The pace set by Beck, reflected by the remaining cars. The spread between #1 and 16, only 29 hundredths of a second. A father and son team made the Top Fuel field for the first time in history, each driving their own car. 20-year-old Scott Colita was the #16 qualifier, his dad Connie #11. Scott's competition in the first round, Billy Williams. Colita fell behind at the start, with Williams having a big lead as he crossed the finish line, then disaster. A giant engine explosion. Williams fighting to keep control of the car at over 250 miles an hour. The huge tires acting like giant rubber balls as Williams attempted to bring the bouncing dragster to a safe halt.
Okay, Dave, as you can see, an engine explosion, burning the parachute off of Billy Williams' car, burning it off enough where it was ineffective. But Williams is all right, did a masterful job of driving this car. He really did. He avoided the net down here, which some say you shouldn't do, but Billy had it slowed down enough. You're okay, Billy?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Right, what happened then?
I don't know. Parachute didn't come out for some reason, and
Parachute was out, but I think the fire probably burned some of it off.
it sure didn't slow the car down at all. I don't know what happened, really.
When the stress of over 250 miles an hour is continually placed on the nitro-burning engines used in Top Fuel racing, sometimes, as Joe Amato found out in round #1, something lets go. In Joe's case, this wasn't the first time this weekend. In qualifying, Joe Amato exploded a supercharger, scattering parts over the racetrack. No injuries to Joe Amato, except maybe to his bank account.
Joe and Jerry Amato doing a post-mortem on a motor that exploded 100 feet or so before the finish line, still ran 5.83. But, Joe, this one's pretty well destroyed.
Yeah, this looks like a grenade. I don't know. It's made a lot of noise. It sounded expensive.
Okay, now the restraint straps on the supercharger have done their job. Certainly one is broken, but that's to be expected. The blower is still on the race car and not out on the racetrack somewhere.
Yeah, all the cars, built well. All the safety stuff did its job. You can see the rules are definitely a help because it didn't go into the stands, which if definitely it would have, with the way that's broke. That's the first pass on that brand new blower. Apparently, it made the car a lot more powerful than it did before, and that's the reason why we're standing here looking at a dead soldier.
While Amato was pulling to a stop on the racetrack, his competition, Lucille Lee, was waiting patiently at the starting line. With Amato out of racing for the day, all Lucille had to do was go straight. A quick wheel stand. Lucille across the center line of the track and disqualification. With both cars out in round #1, Billy Williams gets a big break, a bye run in the second round.
What caused it to cross the center line, Lucille?
We had a whole lot of horsepower when we left. The front wheels came up immediately. It's the highest it's ever been, and when it came down crooked. I'm trying to think back, and I feel responsible as a driver for not keeping it straight, mainly because I feel bad for Mark.
Lucille Lee referring to car owner Mark Danikas. The talk of qualifying, Gary Beck. A new national elapsed time record of 5.54 seconds. But qualifying is one thing, side-by-side racing another. In round 1, Beck raced Jack Ostrander of Pontiac, Michigan, and proved that the qualifying time was only a mark to be improved. The quickest elapsed time ever recorded in Top Fuel, 5.48 seconds to cover a quarter of a mile from a standing start.
Well, Gary Beck arrives down here to an ovation from the officials in this area. The quickest elapsed time in the history of drag racing, 5:48.
Great. It was pretty strong, really.
Well, we talked earlier today. You said you were going to go out there. You're not even going to try to run 50s. You lied.
Well, we know the thing is, car's been real strong the last 3 weeks, and I'm real glad for Larry Minor to have a great running car like this.
Another car owner, Paul Candies, is very happy to have a talented young driver. Mark Oswald proved his worth against Jim Bernard when he too had a giant wheel stand. But Oswald kept the power on and drove through it to victory, completing the pairings for the second round. Oswald will race Shirley Muldowney, Gary Beck against Doug Kerhulis, and Connie Kalita will meet Dick LaHaye. The difference in times between the two nitro-burning classes continues to narrow, as Don Prudhomme proved in funny car qualifying with an all-time best of 5.63 seconds. If he had been racing in Top Fuel, Prudhomme would have qualified number 4. At the beginning of today's competition, no one has forgotten Prudhomme's performance, especially Kenny Bernstein. He was matched against Prudhomme on the record-shattering run, recording a respectable 5.90 seconds himself, while Prudhomme logged a 5.63.
Coming into the U.S. Nationals, people were talking about maybe a potential of a 5.70 with the funny car, but a 5.63, they had to check 5 different clocks to make sure it was right.
Yeah, I know. It's awesome. You know, it's hard. If I was back home and I heard this was going on here, I wouldn't believe it, but I'm driving the car, and I'm here to tell you the car's doing it. It's an incredible racetrack. It always has been here, and you know, it ran a 73 and come back with a 63.
Dale Paulding had the dubious distinction of trying to stop Prudhomme in round number 1, and he lost traction going up in smoke and crossed the center line right at the start. Prudhomme marched into round number 2. The reigning world champion Raymond Beadle in his Blue Max funny car was handed the surprise of the Nationals, a first-round defeat at the hands of Ken Veeney. Formerly an alcohol fuel competitor, Veeney made the switch to nitromethane mid-season and has been steadily improving ever since.
Ken Veeney, only his 13th ride ever in a nitro funny car, the innovator in the alcohol ranks, makes the smoothest transition to nitro we have ever seen and defeats the Blue Max.
I'm on it. I mean, I can't believe it. I mean, I just don't know what to say.
578, 252.
All I need is I need a sponsor. That's all I can say. I need help.
Well, in round number 2, Ken Veeney won't get much help from Al Segrini. Don Prudhomme will square off against Tom McEwen. Kenny Bernstein races Billy Meyer, and Gary Bergen matches up with Tom Anderson. We'll be back with more exciting action from the U.S. Nationals in just a moment. Hello, everybody. I'm Dave McClelland, along with Steve Evans. We're at Indianapolis Raceway Park for all the excitement of the 28th Annual U.S. Nationals. Top Fuel Eliminator, round number 2 is at the starting line. Round number 2 of Top Fuel Racing at the U.S. Nationals, Shirley Muldowney against Mark Oswald. Shirley qualified in the number 2 spot with a spectacular 5.57 second elapsed time. Mark Oswald, the number 6 qualifier. But of course, as you saw in round number 1, the big story here, the gigantic wheel stand by the Candies and Hughes car. Steve had a chance to talk to Mark.
Right, a sensational job of driving in the first round with the wheels in the air half the time. Are you going to keep them down against Shirley?
Oh, definitely. You can't win a race like that. We were lucky to get by that round. We calmed it down quite a bit now, and I think it's going to run pretty good.
If I calm it down, you mean?
Oh, try to keep the front end on the ground. Had too much clutch in it.
Oswald will need that clutch adjustment to beat this woman, Shirley Muldowney. She is the winningest woman driver in all of motorsports. A 2-time world champion against now the fastest car in all of drag racing, the Big Blue Machine from Louisiana, Candies and Hughes, the car owners, Mark Oswald, the driver. And it's up in smoke. Shirley Muldowney has an easy win. Mark Oswald losing traction. How about consistency for Shirley? 5.62 seconds at over 252 miles an hour. A great run. The next pair already fired. Here is the quickest car in all of drag racing. You saw it in round number 1 as Gary Beck ran a 5.48 seconds. Here he's running Doug Kerhulis in the second round. Steve's had a chance to catch up with Shirley Muldowney.
Shirley Muldowney continues to saw him off. Jeb Allen first round, now the world's fastest dragster, Mark Oswald. Shirley, he smoked the tires right up the line.
Did he? We thought that he would do that, yes.
Well, I hear your motor behind us talking to us. It's popping and crackling a little bit, but not a drop of oil anywhere.
That's good. Well, it was a little easier run, and I might have shifted it a little soon. I don't know, but I guess it was good enough.
Gary Beck, his eyes concentrating on the racetrack that has provided the traction thus far for his 5.48 seconds. He qualified number 1 and set the record at a 5:54. He's racing against the number 13 qualifier from Bakersfield, California, Doug Kerhulis, in the show at 5.80 seconds. Kerhulis, having one of the best seasons of his career, has now got one of the toughest races he's ever faced against the quickest man in the sport with the wheels in the air. Beck backs out of it, brings him back down. It's a close race, and Gary Beck wins it. 5.63 seconds. His speed only 243 miles an hour, and he pulled that out in just the last few feet. As we watch again at the start, look at the front end come up on Gary Beck's car. He backs off, the wheels back on the ground. He is trying his best to pull ahead of Doug Kerhulis, and the mighty horsepower of the Larry Minor car pulls it out at the last few feet.
Gary Beck celebrating his 10th anniversary here at the U.S. Nationals. He won it back in 1972 for the first time. Doug Kerhulis shakes his hands. What a job of driving, GB.
Yeah, it's leaving awful hard. It's lifting the left side up real high. We've been concerned about it. We added a little bit of lead to it. We'll probably have to put a little more on it. Track's getting better and better every round.
With the traction available, Gary Beck adding lead to the front end of the car, to the front axle, to hold those wheels on the ground. These two cars have just watched what's happened. Connie Kaleta qualified number 11. He is the father of the father-son team. We saw Scott go out in round 1. Dick LaHaye qualified number 7. But at this point, it is anybody's race. Dick LaHaye from Lansing, Michigan, against his longtime friend from Ypsilanti, Michigan, Connie Kaleta. Kaleta's already won an NHRA national event this season, winning the Grand Nationals title up in Canada. Both drivers taking their time, building some horsepower in the engines. As the engines get hotter, the more horsepower that they develop. The nitromethane fuels LaHaye and Kaleta, and the wheels come off LaHaye's car. Both front wheels fall off LaHaye's car. After a bit of a wheel stand, it skids to a stop. Kaleta is already gone, the engine shut off, and he is coasting to a stop at the far end of the track. But LaHaye starting to climb out of the car. Let's watch again and see if we can see what happens. Severe shake in the car. As you can see, the wheels just crumple over, and he brings the car to a safe stop. No injury to Dick LaHaye. But what a way to lose a race to Connie Kaleta, to have your front wheels fall off right at the starting line. The car being towed off the racetrack and will be taken back into the pits. Steve has a chance to talk to Connie.
All right, Connie Kaleta listening to the PA back here to see who has lane choice when he races Gary Beck, as they both ran the exact same elapsed time. They're comparing the speeds now to try to select a lane choice, as we can hear the public address announcer, Connie.
That shouldn't be that way. The
lane choice just went to Beck.
That's not right. Do you think so?
Well, they're exactly the same elapsed times to the
thousand. You should toss the coin for it as quick as time.
You can go lobby for that.
Some you're going to win, some you don't.
Well, you and Gary Beck with identical elapsed times, that's not a race, that's more of a war.
Yeah, it is. But the lane choice could be very critical. So we'll just take the best shot at it. What can we do?
Well, maybe you can convince him to flip.
Yeah, I'll talk to him about it.
Steve, it sounds like Connie is going to be the racer rather than the politician this weekend. Here's the man that has found Christmas at the Nationals. This is Billy Williams. We saw him explode an engine. The car went off the track. He was able to keep it upright. He repaired the damage, and he got the break when Lucille Lee crossed the center line in round number 1. And Billy Williams moves into the semifinals against Shirley Muldowney. Gary Beck against Connie Kaleta. 4 cars remain for one of the biggest purses ever in top fuel racing at the U.S. Nationals. at Indianapolis Raceway Park in the 28th Annual U.S. Nationals. I'm Dave McClelland along with Steve Evans, and we're getting set for round number 2 in Funny Car Eliminator. But one man has got a lot of work ahead of him. That is the race car of Tom McEwen that is scattered all over his pit area. Tom, in his first round race, exploded an engine, and that has created the stripping of this car down to the bare chassis, as a lot of his friends have gathered around to help Tom get ready for his race against Don the Snake Prudhomme.